always having a game plan. What are we going to do? How, and be knowledgeable about the work that we're doing. You know, again, in golf, it's a game of learning, and it is constant. To me, it's always a constant learning experience. I love to learn. I practice a lot. I'm always taking lessons. People wonder why you keep taking lessons. Well, if you look at the golf pros, they take lessons all the time. They have multiple teachers, and they're learning every single day that they go out and play. They hit thousands and thousands of golf balls. That is their job. And again, when they go out and play a game every single Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they have a game plan. They've mapped out what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And again, I think that's some of the mistakes that people make. And it's in two ways. One, when you make a plan in golf, you plan for how the fairways are laid out and what kind of shot you need to hit depending upon the conditions that you're in, what club you're going to need. But the day you walk up there, the conditions may change, so you have to be flexible and you have to adjust your game plan. The same way in business. When you write a plan in business, the environment may change around you, the market conditions may change. Your competition may change, technology may change. And this is one of the things I think that gets people in trouble. We worry about writing 5-year plans and sticking to those plans exactly as we have them written. And I think one of the things that I've learned over the years is that you write plans to give you left and right hash marks or boundaries. And you have general direction set. We're going this way. And we want to achieve certain goals along the way. We're going to use these tools to get us there. But if we get to a particular point in that game plan, the conditions aren't the same. We have to be a creative and very proactive organization to change rapidly. The companies that are surviving today are those that understand that they need to be able to react to the market conditions and change quickly. They also understand the concept of failing fast. That means if we try something and it doesn't work, don't worry about it, try something else and move on. And these are the kinds of things, again, we learn these, we have similar concepts in golf, and we use that as well. You know, oftentimes I think that, you know, my short game may not be working very well, so I better play my shots a little bit farther away, not try to hit 50-yard shots in, maybe I'm better hitting 100-yard shots in. Because that, for me, that day is a more comfortable shot. In business, it's very similar. So if I find myself in a situation where something that worked for me over the last few months now all of a sudden isn't working, I better stop trying to use it and find something else that will. And that's very important for us. I think the next thing is very important. It's one of the things that I always love when I play. It's understanding control what you can control and forget about the rest. You can't control the weather. You can't control the length of the grass. You can't control whether the grass is wet or dry. You can't control the sun. You can't control any of those things. The elements you can't control, you need to just forget about it because everybody else you're playing with has to contend with the same thing. Well, in business, the same thing goes. You can't control what your competitors are doing. You can't control what your customers are thinking. You can't control a lot of those elements, but you must be able to understand them and be able to adapt to those situations. You know, I think it's one of the things that most people that play golf, who play at a high level, understand they only have certain things they can control. They can control their swing, and they can control their mental approach to the game. The rest of the elements, they understand what they are, they factor those in, and then they play on. People who get frustrated by wind, by rain, by grass length, by sun, whatever it might be, are those people who will continually struggle with the game of golf. And I think the people who struggle in business oftentimes are trying to fight and try to controlling elements that they have no chance of controlling. And again, it's a matter of understanding what it is you can control and appreciating those things that you can't, factoring them in and moving on. The next thing I think is very important is the idea of continuous learning and continuing to learn as we grow older. I think, again, we all go to school or we learn a certain level, and then for some reason there's this period of time, I think, when we achieve a certain level of success that we think that that's probably a good time. We've we've achieved our pinnacle, and that's a good time to stop. Same thing I think happens to a lot of amateur golfers, which they achieve certain level of a handicap and they think that's great, we're going to go on, and they don't need to learn anything more. And I think, again, that's where the ones who continue to play better and better and better, especially as our bodies change, our minds change, you need to be able to continue to learn how to adapt to those changes that go on in your life so that your game improves. And I think the same thing goes in business. There's so much, the rapidness of what's going on in today's technology and in the markets absolutely requires people to continue to learn. You know, there's an old saying that says, you know, the day you stop learning is the day you're dead. And I think that's pretty much the way that it should be. I mean, if we stop learning, especially in business, how are we ever going to be able to compete? And you know, the companies and the markets where you have such fast innovation coming on, you don't have a choice. You just have to be able to stay in there. And that doesn't have anything to do with age. And again, you know, it's so important for us to be able to have the opportunity to be presented with ideas that come from all different spectrums in the environment, whether it's from your own industry or outside the industry, whether it's from golf, whether it's from any other sport. There's just so many opportunities for people to learn that can value and add value to your business environment and to the things that you're trying to accomplish. One of my favorite things in golf is knowing your game and playing your own game, which in business for me, that always means, you know your strengths, leverage those strengths, know your weaknesses, be willing to admit those weaknesses, use other people around you where they have those strengths to help you. And in golf, it's one of those things that we see quite often, when you can see it all the time if for those of you who play golf. You get a very good golfer that's out there and you're playing in your foursome as an example, and there's, again, I'll go back to my water story. Somebody standing on the tees, a good golfer, is a long hitter, they hit the ball over the water, and here you are standing back thinking, yeah, I don't want to look bad, so I'm going to try to make that shot over the water. Now you know in your heart that your game really doesn't allow you to hit the ball over the water the majority of the time, but I don't want to look bad. So what do you try to do? You're going to probably try to hit the ball over the water, where if you played your game, if you know your game and played your game, you would play the right shot, which is to play it off to the left or to the right, wherever the fairway is, hit it out there, play your second shot onto the green, and then two-putt and get your par and go on. Instead of trying to follow somebody else's game who's playing at a different level, who also is playing a higher risk-reward scenario, who by chance may not make it across water every time either. And I think in business it's the same thing. You have to know what you're good at, and you have to know what you're not good at. And you have to leverage the strength of others to help augment those things. And again, it's the same way we see it across, whether it's an entire company or whether it's individuals within a company. And that's why I think it's a little bit different in golf, because in golf you're playing as an individual, but in a company we actually have the ability to work as a team. And I think that's one of the strengths of being in corporations that promote teamwork, and where you can actually utilize this collective minds of everybody around you. You can use those minds and the strengths of those people to deliver what would be together a better product or service for our clients.